Hi guys, today we are making a propolis tincture. We were lucky enough to get this propolis from our job. We sell honey at a farmer's market and have been going out to see the bees and cutting this year's honeycomb. So we've been around the propolis a lot and we were lucky enough to get some of it. So for any of you guys that aren't diehard bee nerds already, propolis is a resin that the bees build on the outside of the hive, and the bees use this to seal up their hive against pathogens as well as rain and anything else that could possibly get into the hive. It's made out of processed down tree sap and beeswax. The bees all walk across this and it kind of acts as a sanitation mat. This resin is naturally antibacterial and antifungal, and it is known to boost your immune system against colds. It is the active ingredient that helps fight against colds, as well as if you put honey on cuts, it will help heal the cuts. The two main health benefits of propolis are, one, it is supposed to help with seasonal allergies, given that you are within a few mile radius of the hive. And it is also known to boost your immune system against colds.
This is the first time we made a propolis tincture, so we were learning as we were going. This is the process we did to make the propolis tincture. First, we had to rinse off the propolis in water. The propolis was covered in dirt and bee parts. We used a 5-gallon bucket at first, but it was a little inconvenient to use because it was a little too big and we couldn't comfortably handle the propolis. We then decided to switch to using some small metal bowls. Letting the propolis chunks sit in the water let the dirt and bee parts come off pretty easily on their own. Next, we had to tear down the propolis chunks into smaller pieces. The recipes we found online suggested making the pieces smaller than a marble, so that's what we did. As we tore the propolis apart in the water, more dirt and more bee parts kept falling off of the propolis. Next, it was time to combine the propolis with the alcohol. According to different recipes we found online, you want to use a 70% or 100% fine grain alcohol. A couple beekeepers that we know recommended Tito's, which is a 40% alcohol. We figured this lower percentage alcohol would actually be better for us because we don't like drinking alcohol, and we wanted more propolis anyways. Different charts we found online suggested how much propolis to use per the amount of alcohol, based on what percentage alcohol we were using and what concentration propolis tincture we wanted to have in the end. We ended up making a propolis tincture in 6 little jars and also in the large Tito's bottle. For the small jars, we filled them up with rinsed off propolis chunks, and then we filled up the jars with Tito's. We put some wax paper under these lids so that the alcohol wouldn't corrode the metal lids. For the Tito's bottle, we simply put as much propolis into the bottle as we could fit. We don't know exactly what concentration tincture this made because we didn't measure exactly how many grams of propolis we used for the amount of alcohol that was in the jars. This is okay though because it's just for our own use. We'll also link below a recipe that we reference for making this tincture. The last step in all of this is to shake the bottle and the jars 2 or 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks to help facilitate the propolis dissolving in the alcohol. This process actually started rather quickly. Tito's has a pretty strong scent, but as soon as we added the propolis into the bottle, the alcohol scent was pretty much totally masked by the propolis. The color of the alcohol was also slightly different as the propolis was dissolving. After about 2 weeks, the tincture is ready to be used. Putting around 15 to 20 drops of the tincture in a cup of tea or a glass of water once a day is the recommended dose to help prevent sickness. If you're sick, Increasing this dose helps to fight the sickness.
If you can imagine a frame of honey, there is beeswax on the inside as well as the honey that clings onto it, and then it's sealed off by another layer of beeswax. But the propolis actually lives on the outside of the frames. So when you go in and harvest honey, you typically only take the honey and sometimes the beeswax, but rarely the propolis. So honey at the store, or if you just harvest it yourself, isn't going to have more than trace amounts of propolis. To get all of the health benefits of the propolis, you have to go back in and hand scrape all of that propolis off of the frames and the boxes. And then you can go ahead and add it back into the honey and mix it up, make tinctures, or make that propolis balm we were talking about. You can identify propolis by looking at the edges of the frames as well as the boxes. Propolis has a much darker color than beeswax does. Beeswax is typically white, while the propolis ranges in color from like a brown to a gray, just depending on what area you're from. In our case, the propolis is a very dark brown. Propolis is a raw ingredient, so those health benefits can burn off by accident if you heat it up too much. So this means you just want to be careful if you choose to put it into coffees or teas. The threshold that we've been told is 120 degrees, so you just want to make sure that if you're just putting a propolis tincture or a propolis honey into coffees or teas, to just not let that go over 120 degrees. So the rule of thumb that we use is that if it's too hot to drink, it is too hot to put that propolis honey or that propolis tincture in. And if you are looking for a honey, even with trace amounts of propolis, you're going to want to make sure that it is raw and unfiltered. But honestly, you are really going to want to look specifically for a honey that has propolis listed as an ingredient to get those health benefits at a higher concentration than it normally occurs in honey. Hi guys, it's Victoria. I just wanted to hop on here and thank you for watching our video today. We were super stoked to get all of this beautiful footage from all of the hives. If you like this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel and let us know down in the comments below if you've ever had propolis before. We are also going to link some studies below, as well as a link to our blog and the supplies we use to make this tincture. I have also been making a lot of bee-related art and stickers recently, so be on the lookout for those to drop on the shop tab of our website. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you guys have a lovely rest of your day.